All right, folks, it's Greg Sharp here with another edition of Inside Arm Wrestling, the home for all news on arm wrestling, fitness, strength, and fitness competitions. Today's episode we're going to call Around the Horn, folks. Nothing in particular. I mean, obviously we are anticipating on April 20th the East versus West card, but let's go around the horn on the Instagram page and let's see what we find. All right, we're going to jump in here to East versus West arm wrestling. So far confirmed, as the post says, athletes for East versus West on August 10th in Orlando. Who do we have for the West team? We've got none other than the greatest of all time, the GOAT, John Brzenk, leading the charge. On bottom of John Brzenk's name, we see Devin Lorette. Devin Lorette, the number one contender right now to Levon Sagan-Savelli. On April 20th, we're going to find if Devin is the number one right now in the world, or if Levon is still that placeholder. Travis Bajan, the man who needs no introduction at all, the voice of arm wrestling, really the heel of arm wrestling, the character of arm wrestling, maybe perhaps the greatest left-handed arm wrestler of all time, certainly arguably. I'll call him the GOAT on the left-hand side. Dave Chafee out of the Northeast, certainly a silent giant killer. You've got the king of side pressure, Todd Hutchins there. You've got Matt Mask, a huge internet favorite. Paul Lynn, again, another Northeast puller. Craig Tullier, the man from Baton Rouge. Corey West, the man from Arkansas. And Jonathan Breda, a man that has not been in a lot of tournament arm wrestling here over the last couple of months, or maybe even the last year or so, is back in action for East versus West as the West team looks to figure out who the East will bring in to compete against them. Certainly that's going to be some really good stories here in the not-so-distant future. Going around the horn, let's go out. And we did see recently that you had the Nationals this weekend. I think I have to go over to my Facebook page in order to get that. I saw something today in the morning that there was 229 entries for the Nationals. Let's see if I can pick that up here somewhere. Let's see if I go over to Sean Boom Hancock page. Let's see if we pull down. He's got some videos of yesterday. Looks like it was a really well-attended event. That's the IFA U.S. Nationals Championships. I do know that our host, Ryan Johnston, was out there looking at the video. Quite a few people there. Without a doubt, that was a well-attended event. Let me see if I can move over to Denise Waddle's page. I know that I saw something, folks, on the actual brackets. I'm sure I can find it. Corey Miller definitely posted it. Here it is. They've got a record-breaking weekend. 489 entries. 259 entries in the Masters and the Juniors today. That coincides with the 229 in the Open and the Women's. Folks, that's a great turnout. That's a big turnout. Certainly, that's a value of a certain approach that I'm not quite sure if there were actual payouts for the event, but certainly at $40, $50 for an entry on 489, you can do the math. That's quite a bit of money. I'll look to see what the payouts are here after we see where the results are. Certainly Denise and the IFA, Sean Hancock and Leonard, doing a great job to bring in quite a bit of interest for the Nationals this year, which I believe is in Greece, which again, a great trip over to pull for the Nationals. There is no reason why people should not get involved in tournaments like that, especially when the trip is such a terrific place to actually go visit. As we go back into our Instagram, let's look at the High Five guys. Let's see what the High Five guys have got going out there. Sneak down here. High Five guys have on their most recent post. Looks like they've got Myrtle Aslanov versus Kamil Jablonski as one of their tournament matchups here coming up. Again, guys, I am awful with international names. My apology to both of those pullers, but that has just been posted. And, of course, the last time we did not get to comment on this, BJ Fakakis versus Mindagos Dolskis. Best of 5 right hand. BJ Fakakis our resident food guru out of Hattiesburg, Mississippi, went down to his diner, his family diner, which has been around for multiple generations. Let me tell you something. His hospitality when I was there was top notch. The food was great. And Hattiesburg is really a nice, quaint area to visit. That is a matchup that has been announced. Let's see if there's something posted on Paul Italia's page. Paul Italia had a podcast out there, the Arm Wrestling Buzz. Folks, if you're not familiar with Paul Italia and the Arm Wrestling Buzz, looks like they posted a day ago. Make sure you jump over to YouTube to watch his streams. I've sat in on them. Sometimes they're pretty funny, very informative. Paul has a definite engaging platform there with his podcast. So make sure you get over there. It looked like a good one. He also has posted, James English has a message for Auden Lorette. Link in bio. So I have to go to the link in bio here. Let's see, Paul. I'm going to have to search this out. Nothing is easy in the world of Instagram. Let's pop over here as we pull up to the link in the bio. Yep, here we go, folks. There is a video up on Paul Italia's page. James English has delivered a message for Auden Lorette. Folks, I would say this. I'm going to mute this real quick. Watch it. Get some views on it. Looks like they've had 2.7 views so far on it. It's a 23-minute message. So take the time to watch it. Make sure that you put a little bit of a stop clock in front of you so that way you know it's going to be 20 minutes. Let's see who else out there. Always a fun person to follow. Artem. Let's go see what Artem is doing out there. Mr. Top Roll King. Artemis Prime. Oh, I thought this was pretty interesting. He's got a reel here, folks, where he does 110 pounds of side pressure. Real interesting. I like his setup, folks. I'll be honest with you. He's got a great practice table going on there. And 3 days ago, he says it's not perfect, just making my elbow go through the heavy side. But he did do 110 pounds of side pressure there. Great lift there, Artem. Always a pleasure to see you doing big things. Let's go out to the bad boy of arm wrestling, Travis Bagent. Let's see if we see anything on Travis's page. Honestly, I don't typically see a whole lot on Travis's page other than his son's progress, his family's progress. It's a very family-oriented page. But he did put up for an event coming on May 4th, the Ganji Plumbing presents Strong Calling Arm Wrestling Championships. May 4th, it is in Island Lake, Illinois. So my guess is that Travis may be the host. So he's promoting. You got Bill Sinks right up front. And $10 advance, $15 at the door to watch. That's interesting. It is a $50 entry fee. So if you're a spectator and you want to watch, you're going to pay to come in and see it. So hoping that's a big event and a very good production, something that make people want to pay. That's great. Let's see. If we go out to Devin Lorette. Everybody's a Devin Lorette fan these days. I had the military, my son's battalion asked, can your dad beat Devin Lorette? And the answer is no. So, let's see. Devin's page has got him versus, it's an interesting one. Antoine Valiant. I actually like Antoine. I've met him a couple of times. He's a pretty solid guy. I mean, he's a bodybuilder. He's been actually doing well. He had an injury and a layoff for a while. Had some health problems. He disappeared from the bodybuilding stage and scene, and he's come back. He did very well in a couple of tournaments. He actually did well in the Arnold Classic. I'm a fan of Antoine Valiant. He is on the table with Devin. I can tell you something. It's a great picture. It certainly does not create a real perspective of arm wrestling. Devin is hugely engaged in his arm against Antoine, which, if you know Devin, that is probably not going to happen. I mean, honestly, when you pulled Hawthorne when it in that one viral video, who was the strongest man in the world at the time. He basically looked at him, smiled, and did one of these as he pulled him over. Antoine Valiant, who definitely is a very strong person. Bodybuilders are typically strong people, albeit their systematic approach to strength is different than a strength athlete. He's got really engaged bicep and forearm. It makes for a very prolific picture. The reality is folks, that Devin probably would smash him pretty quickly. But great picture out there. Certainly like the collaboration of bodybuilding with arm wrestling. Bodybuilding has a very big value of fan base. And if you look at some of the videos on Devin's page, actually the mutant Nick Walker is in there. So Devin is definitely trying to engage a bigger populace of fan. His fan page is up to 876,000 followers. And if you look at his engagement, it's actually really good engagement. He had 32,000 likes on the Antoine Valiant picture. If we look at his reels do very well. Hundreds of thousands of views. So I would say Devin is doing really pretty good on his social media capitalization. Maybe the only arm wrestler that's making money on a social media end. But certainly with 876,000 followers, that's typically a strong six-figure income for most social media influencers. So kudos to Devin Lorette. He definitely has a following that's paying off for him, I'm sure, on many levels. And just on a roundabout way, guys, you know, the best way to stay active in the world of arm wrestling is to follow everybody. Whether you're a fan or not, you never know when there's collaborations. You never know when there's great information. You never know. I mean, I follow Julius Maddox. I mean, I'll never bench over 700 pounds, but I just think he's an amazing feat of strength athlete. He doesn't arm wrestle, but I think there's a value in following some people, especially people like that, because they bring such an interesting dynamic to the sport of fitness, the sport of strength, and just everyday people. I mean, holy cow, how many times can you look at somebody or see somebody that actually can bench almost 800 pounds? So I always like to go around the horn with Instagram. Typically, I do that before we tape. Today, I just figured, you know what, we'll wing it. It is a great day outside. We really didn't have an event to really promote coming up this next week. So we winged it. We'll see how it is received on YouTube. If you like it, leave a comment. If you don't, leave a comment. Like, hit the notification bell. And as always, folks, I'm going to read that outro. For whatever reason, I got a little brain fart when it comes to this outro. And this has been Greg Sharp. You'd think I would remember who I am. Reminding you to train hard, pull smart, and lift safe. Anyway, folks, have a great week, and thank you for tuning in to Inside Arm Wrestling. Folks, if you like these stories and you want to see more, please hit the like button and subscribe to our page. Also, hit the notification bell underneath the video so that way you're notified every time a new video comes out. And if you're on social media, specifically Instagram, go to the World Series of Arm Wrestling Instagram page. Please follow it. We'll try to follow you back, but it'll keep you up to date with all of the news and events in the world of arm wrestling.